I tried to We're going to call this meeting to order at 5:01. It is November 26, 2019. This is a special school board business meeting. We are in the Joe N. Idolette Teacher Education Center, located at 6500 57th Street. For the audience that's watching via TV and through our YouTube channel, we appreciate you tuning in tonight, but you're always welcome to join us here in the audience. Let's see, Mrs. Rosario is joining us via telephone. Mrs. Rosario, are you here?
Yes, I am. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. At this time, if you would please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag led by Lieutenant Colonel John Teskey, Army Reserves.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. At this time, board members, are there any items that you wish to move from consent to action?
No, ma'am.
No? Okay, I need a motion for approval then.
Move approval of the adoption of the orders of the day. Second.
Mrs. Justice, would you like to speak?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Mrs. Barrenborg?
No, thank
Borg?
I'm good.
Any further discussion?
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to acknowledge that in the, I suppose I should say this after we pass it, but in the consent, well, in the consent agenda, we're approving some positions to begin what is a long overdue equity department, moving from a unit of one more broadly. And I just want to acknowledge the magnitude of that work getting started tonight, so thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mrs. Rosario, would you like to speak?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
5-0. At this time, we do have just one short presentation, so I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Moxley.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Welcome here, and we're so glad to see a lot of students in the audience tonight, so thank you for being here with us. And I'd like to introduce Kristen Maddox, who is our Public Information Officer, to do the honors.
Thank you, Dr. Moxley. Good evening, everyone. It's so nice to have all of you here. I know it's really close to Thanksgiving, so I'm happy to have everyone here in the audience with us. We have one video tonight, and it is about family engagement, because this month, the Florida Department of Education recognizes November as Family Engagement Month. And we had the opportunity to submit videos from our schools that just showed how we engage our families and our school family, not just the students who are under the roof of the school, but the families at home, and the techniques that the schools are using to do that. So we have one school that jumped at that opportunity to have us come out and shoot a video for them to submit, and that was Pelican Island. And they are reading the one and only Ivan, and they do this, a different person from the community or the school staff or district staff, they take turns reading a section of this book on their YouTube channel so that their school family and families at home can follow along and make sure that students are reading every night. And I'm really excited because I get a chance this week to read a portion of the book too. So here is the video that we're submitting for Family Engagement Month. And I have to push start tonight, I just remembered.
So at Pelican Island Elementary, we are really working hard to engage our students and family and the community. And so our leadership team came together and decided to implement a one school, one book initiative where our whole school is reading the one and only Ivan.
One of the biggest struggles teachers have is getting their students excited to read. So that's one thing this program is doing. It's really getting them pumped up. It's knowing that every other kid in the school is also reading it. It's definitely getting them really in tune with the book. It's kind of connecting everybody together.
We have our school resource officer, our admin assistant, Anybody who wanted to share the love of reading recorded themselves. We uploaded the link to YouTube, and then we share it on our school Facebook page, and all students are able to watch and listen to our school staff members reading to them at home at night.
I think it's an excellent way to introduce literature to the children. It's a modern approach to getting the kids interested in reading. Well, we travel a lot, and so the times that we are together would be a lot of time in the car. We put the audio on, we follow the story along, and we've enjoyed the different people reading. It gives them an opportunity to enjoy someone else reading and to ask questions.
The intention behind it was to make sure that every student had access to books and to reading at home. We want to eliminate any barriers. The goal for us is to really develop a love of reading in all of our students and families. Sharing a story is a way to bring everybody together, and we're hopeful that this is something that we can continue over the course of the year and in the future.
So we have our fingers crossed for Pelican Island, and we also have Sebastian Elementary School, who is submitting a video. And we hope at the beginning of the year we hear one of those schools are the winners of this video competition. So thank you so much, and that's it for presentations for tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. At this time, we do have citizen input, and we have 2 speakers that have signed up, Mrs. Liz Cannon, and then Mr. Raymond Oglethorpe will be next. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Oglethorpe, you're going to speak under the action item. Okay.
Good evening. Liz Cannon, IRCEA. First, congratulations on selecting a new superintendent. It is our hope that Dr. Moore is successful in accomplishing the lofty goals he has proposed for us. While I understand that hiring such a talented individual does cost more, I wanted to share some numbers with you as you approve our new leader's contract. The average salary of superintendents in the state of Florida for 2018-19 was $155,268. So our superintendent will be making 14% more than the average Florida superintendent on just base salary alone. One might argue that the cost of living in Indian River County is also on the higher end of that spectrum as well. But the same comparison of the average teacher salary during that same period has the average Indian River County teacher earning 0.26% less than the Florida average teacher. To continue with comparisons, while I know that the superintendent is a 12-month position and teachers are 10-month, if you look at hourly wage alone, the superintendent's hourly wage is $90 per hour, and the average Indian River teacher earns $30.84 per hour. That makes the superintendent's salary 3 times what your average teacher makes here. Again, this is all just base salary. It does not include the 5% deferred compensation tax sheltered annuity, or the $850 per month automobile allowance, or between $2,000 to $7,500 salary increase for earning the required certification, or the up to $10,000 temporary housing relocation expenses. There are other benefits as well, but those are the same as other administrators in Indian River. I'm not saying that our superintendent is not worth this compensation package, but I thought you needed to see the disparity as you approve this contract. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Cannon. Okay, so Mr. Oglethorpe, let's see. Is that action item
A.
A? Okay. All right. So at this time, we're going to move on to the approval of our consent agenda. I need a motion.
Move approval.
Second.
Would you like to speak to your motion?
Yes, please. Thank you, Mrs. Zork. I'd just like to echo Dr. Schiff's sentiments regarding the long overdue creation of an equity department. We spoke a little bit about this at our workshop, and I mentioned that not only do I feel that we need to focus on equity, but also diversity and inclusion and accessibility in our school districts. So it's my hope as we welcome Dr. Moore to the School District of Indian River County, he brings some of the wonderful things that have been done in Miami-Dade or other places around the country, and we continue to grow and expand the opportunities for our students to learn in our classrooms.
Okay, thank you. Would you like to speak to your motion?
This is just on the consent agenda, right? I thought we already approved that.
No,
Or are we
that was
approving the action?
We had approved our orders of the day.
Oh,
Yeah, that's fine.
catch up, Mara. No, I won't speak to that at the moment.
Okay,
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
yes,
Madam Chair, can you hear me?
yes.
She said yes.
Where are we in the agenda? Because I kind of missed where we were. I thought we already approved the consent agenda.
No, we approved our orders of the day, we went into our presentations, then we went into our citizen input, and now we're on the consent agenda, which is, in the order, it would be consent agenda item number 3.
Okay, at what point will we be
That's
looking to discuss the new superintendent's employment agreement?
at action A.
Okay. All right, I'm just trying to follow along. Thank you.
You're welcome. Would you like to,
Does she want to speak on the consent?
did you want to speak on the consent?
Not on the consent, but on the action agenda,
Okay,
yes.
thank you. Mrs.
I'd just
Mayor.
like to echo the same thing. It's nice that we're able to approve someone that can analyze data specifically for our equity status and plan. So I'm encouraged that we're moving forward. I'm also encouraged that that's where we are and that we waited for Dr. Moore to come on before we decided to do anything else. So
Okay,
thank you.
all right. I don't see any further discussion, so all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, 5-0. At this time, we're going to move on to our action agenda. The first item that we do have on the action agenda is item A, which is the approval of the superintendent employment contract. Approval is recommended by me on this. As chair, Saturday afternoon, the contract negotiations were complete between both parties, and I appreciate the sense of urgency that was put into this. And then the contract was actually posted to board docs on Saturday evening, and I do want to say thank you to Mrs. Esplin for getting that posted as soon as possible so that the public had time to take a look at that. With recommending this, all I can say is I'm not used to public input during an action item, so I need to have public input before we discuss.
Yes, ma'am. Typically that you'll allow for public input and then either call for a motion or discussion or however you're going to move forward with the item.
Okay, so do I,
You can certainly call for the public
okay,
comment now.
before I go into my recommendation, I'm going to ask for Mr. Ray Oglethorpe to please come up. You have signed up for public input on this item. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Madam Chairman. And thanks to all the school board members here and Dr. Moxley, who attended our function for the Learning Alliance on Friday night. It was a very exciting time. Also, Ms. Cannon, thank you very much for your comments. We have had a wonderful relationship with the teachers at the Learning Alliance, and I agree with everything that you said, okay? It's a shame that we have not been able to pay our teachers more. Hopefully, the governor's recommendations will be able to bring the teachers' salaries up to where they should be. But the thing is that the Learning Alliance, the school board, et cetera, have worked long and hard on trying to find our new superintendent. We firmly believe this is a tipping point for this county and this school district in having the best superintendent we possibly can to lead us to becoming the best school district in the United States. We firmly believe it. We had a wonderful celebration on Friday night where we showed what was going on. And I've been at this for 10 years. As I said there last night, this is the most excited I have been in the 10 years since I've been doing the Learning Alliance, of having somebody come in to run this school district. I've been through, in 10 years, I've been through 3 superintendents, multiple school board changes, and I firmly believe that we've got to get this right. I think what you raised about the salary is a real concern, but I'd also like to tell you the other side of the story. The $180,000, I believe, our new superintendent will be taking a salary cut from what he's currently making. The thing is when I take a look at the entire package of the $180,000, and then I add in the car, I add in everything else, and I do that over 4.5 years, that total cost spread out over 18,000 students works out to be $50 per student, one-time charge for the next 4.5 years. When you take a look at what these salaries go for around Vero Beach, the county administrator makes $180,000. The county administrator of Indian River Shores makes $140,000. Surely Dr. Moore is right up in those types of figures. So the point is, when I take a look at what we're investing in, what we're trying to do in this county as far as having the best possible person we can bring in, I think these are something worth considering and doing and paying the contract. I can't thank the school board enough for getting this agreement done in such a short period of time and getting it done for what I think is a pretty reasonable offer. And as the school board members know, and some people have known, the citizens in this community have offered to try to do whatever we need to do to make sure that we attract Dr. Moore here. So with that, I'd just like to say I think the package is fair based upon my understanding of what school superintendents do. I think it's an investment in this county's future, and I just want to hope that the school board approves this package. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So I am making a recommendation that we do approve this tonight. I would like to say that Indian River County just needs to get ready because we're about ready to be transformed once this contract's approved. We're honored and welcomed, and we welcome Dr. Moore to Indian River County and his wife and his 2 daughters. Dr. Moore is a proven, and I do emphasize proven, transformational leader. In his current role in Miami-Dade, under Dr. Moore's leadership, all students in Indian River County will receive a world-class 21st century education. He will, and I'm holding you high, he will revolutionize the public education system here in Indian River County with his bold initiatives and his futuristic thinking. I wholeheartedly believe in his vision that all Indian River County schools are capable of being an A. I wholeheartedly believe that no child fits into a box and that one size fits none, as Dr. Moore says. I am honored to recommend this contract tonight. I'm excited to recommend this contract tonight. And if we need to dive into the comparisons on how this is a fair contract, I'm more than happy to dive into that. I do agree with Mr. Oglethorpe. I do have compensation here from our county administrator, which is $181,000, and then that car allowance is $910 a month. And when I look at comparables in our county, I think you're well worth it. So with that, I do need approval for.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Hold on one second. We're making a motion and then we'll go into discussion.
Yes, I'd like to make the motion.
Mrs.
Barenborg.
Barenborg.
Do you want me to get my sign off the front?
I've already already went into vacation mode here. Mrs. Berenborg has made a motion and Dr. Schiff has seconded.
And the motion is to approve.
Yes.
Okay. Can I speak to my motion?
Absolutely. Go ahead, Mrs. Berenborg.
I had concerns because I want to make sure we're getting this right. I think we have a dynamic person, and I'm going to hold you to all those things you told us that you were going to do. So just know that we are going to hold him to those things. And I thank Ms. DeGressa for taking my many calls about the contract. I think I've quizzed you pretty well to the point where I probably could have written it. Not really. I went through every little piece, and that's my job as a board member, to make sure we're doing it right. I agree, as having been a teacher, that our teachers aren't paid like teachers need to be paid. But I also know that we're hiring the person that is running the most stress in this district and running the entire district. So I do know that that comes with a higher compensation, and it should. But we also should hold you to what you promised. So I even talked about doing incentives like the teachers, like the governor's proposing, giving you a lower salary with bonuses and all that. And I know you already discussed that with the attorney, so I know why that wasn't in place. But when I found out the difference between the two, we're actually getting a bargain compared to what we would have done had we gotten the bonuses, because you're going to get us to all A's in 2 years. So I welcome you to our district. I think you're going to have a warm welcome. I've been visiting schools a lot lately, and the feeling of hope is in our schools. The feeling of hope is in this building, and I know the feeling of hope is within this board. So, welcome.
Thank you. Dr. Schiff.
Welcome, sir. And I'm so sorry, I don't know your name other than Mrs. Moore. This is the first time across the dais we've met. I appreciate Mrs. Cannon's concerns. I want to point out one thing in the average is that the average includes both elected and appointed superintendents, and elected superintendents bring that average down considerably. And most districts that have elected superintendents are in the process of actually moving to far higher paid appointed superintendents. That said, I don't disagree with a lot of what you mentioned. And I'm going to speak, to the room, the fellow board, and Dr. Moore. I am excited about this. I believe you are the right person at the right time to transform this district in a way we have not seen before. I'm excited about that. I'm enthusiastic. I have not heard one person in our community speak otherwise. So you come into a community and a board and a district that is waiting and ready for everything you've done and can do here. We can no longer continue to be the district we have been in the past. I am unwilling to do that. I am clear, as has been mentioned, that we have to pay for that. And I'm going to be direct and blunt because we only get to speak in the sunshine. I've also spent time on the phone with Ms. DeGresta. And there were aspects of this particular contract that I was surprised by. And I have not done this enough to know how this process goes. There were things here that, in a perfect world, were not my ideal. But I'm also clear that if you want transformation, hire somebody who can get the job done. And if you want to hire a rock star, pay for a rock star. So while I may have misgivings about some of that, and while I am clear that we may take some flack for that, I am also clear that you have promised us the moon. You have also said, if you do not deliver that, we should fire you. I don't anticipate we'll have to do that, but I will be first online if we don't get where we believe you will take us. I believe you will, so I don't think we're ever going to have that conversation. I believe that you will be with us for a long time, and we will not go through this continuous cycle of changing superintendents and changing board members and changing everything such that we never actually get our feet firmly planted on the ground. And as you mentioned in your interview, one of the things that you said in your 90-day plan, I'm going to paraphrase and say it a little bit differently. But we in this district have a history of running from drama to drama and crisis to crisis. And in your 90-day plan, one of the things that you pointed out when confronted with a series of drama and crises was that we should have plans in place. We should not be running from crisis to crisis and drama to drama, and if we are doing that, something's wrong, and your intention is to fix that so that doesn't happen. I'm really excited about that, because I want to get the work done. I don't want to run to or from another crisis. I want to get the work done. I want to reach unitary status and far beyond that. I want to be not just an A district. I want to be top 5 in the state, if not better than that. And I do believe you are the guy who can get us there. So do I think we're paying a fair amount for you compared to other districts? You know, it may not be. Do I think we have significant problems in this district that are not necessarily the same as other districts that are sailing smoothly along? I think we have some significant issues here. I can't wait to get to work with you. I'm looking forward to that. I'm excited about that. And in a minute, I'm going to be able to say, welcome to Indian River.
Okay. All right. Any further discussion?
I think Mrs.
Yes, I have some comments.
Okay.
I am very excited that Dr. Moore, first let me just say, I do apologize to everyone for not being there in person. I previously had plans to be away with family this first half of this week prior to our search for superintendent, and it could not be changed. So needless to say, here I am on the phone, so I do appreciate everyone's accommodations. And Dr. Moore, hearing me over the phone, I thank you for being there. And Mrs. Moore and your family, I am watching by video as well, so I can see the backs of everyone's heads, but I am there in heart and spirit nonetheless. That said, with my excitement to get started with Dr. Moore as superintendent, I am over the top elated. However, I have some concerns that I think some of the other board members have too, which is what I've heard. And I don't want to be the board member that obviously needs to do the political thing and not speak what is on my heart with regard to this process and some of the items that are in the contract. I don't know where some of these amounts came from, and I'm not sure, because tonight was not about signing. Tonight was about discussing to be signed, the details in the contract. And what I'm hearing is that we should just sign away without discussion. And I'm not comfortable with that, because I would like to have discussion about the contract items, some of the items that are in there. Someone mentioned, I think it was Mrs. Cannon, the performance salary incentive. There's a range between, which in the first phase is $2,000 per year, and then in the subsequent phases, it ranges between $3,000 to $7,500 annually. That is by statute. So we can, as board members, decide where in the $3,000 to $7,500 range would Dr. Moore's performance salary incentive fall. But that item there, which is, it's actually on page 7 and page 8, I don't believe that we really have much say in that, because it's a statutory requirement. So I'm just looking right now for Mrs. Diagressa to just confirm that I have that right. Is that correct?
Go ahead.
May I? Thank you. Mrs. Rosario, it's Suzanne. The provision that you're reading from is the Chief Executive Officer Leadership Development Program Certificate. That's not a performance pay provision. That's a superintendent training provision, and it provides, you are correct, in 2 phases. The first phase provides a certificate, and then once Dr. Moore would complete the second phase, it provides a second certificate from the Florida Department of Education, and he would then be eligible for a salary incentive in the amounts that you mentioned. And in that range, the range would be set by the school board, but we insert into the agreement the statutory dollar value, the range that the statute provides for attaining that phase 2, if you will, of the superintendent training certificate.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that. The next thing that I remember discussing prior to the superintendent search was possible compensation for relocation fees. We discussed very briefly, not in detail, if a candidate were to come from out of state, that we would certainly discuss what a relocation package might look like to get someone to come from out of state. I don't know where we got $20,000 for temporary housing and relocation expenses in this contract. We do not live in a $5 billion annual budget district. I'm just wondering where those amounts came from, because Dr. Moore, with no disrespect to him, he's coming from Miami, he's not coming from Maine. So can we engage in discussion about this?
Is that your only question, so that we?
No, that's
Okay.
one question before I
Okay.
move on to the next one.
Okay, what's,
Speak, Mrs. Zork, when
Go ahead.
you have a moment too. I mean, we can
okay,
finish it.
go ahead, Mrs. Rosario.
So I'd like to discuss that part.
Mrs. Rosario, the contract negotiations occurred, and tonight we're here to approve the contract. Now, if you're not prepared to approve the contract, I do understand that, but tonight we're here to approve it or disapprove it.
Who engaged in negotiations when the school board as a whole is supposed to engage in that in a public forum? The school board chair is not the school board corporate. And so the school board corporate is supposed to make the decisions with regard to the superintendent's contract, not one individual board member.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Mrs. Zork, I just want to say thank you to you. You have done an excellent job leading us through this search. I've been impressed by your professionalism, and I appreciated the fact that you worked after we made the final decision to hire Dr. Moore with Suzanne to work out this contract, to have Dr. Moore join us here. I want to say thank you to Nancy, too. I got an email at 10:45 on a Saturday night with the contract being posted. So I want to say welcome, Dr. Moore. Welcome, Mrs. Moore. I don't know your first name yet, but eventually, Jen. Welcome, Jen. We're thrilled to have you here.
Yes.
Tonight, we're here to approve your contract. If one board member chooses not to approve it, that is their choice. I personally am happy to approve it tonight. You know, Socrates had a quote, and I'm going to get it wrong, but it was that the true way to make change is to focus your energy on the creation of something new, not to focus on the past. So I'm excited to look to the future with my fellow board members. Happy to welcome you here. And thank you again, Mrs. Zork and Suzanne and Nancy and Dr. Moxley and everyone that's worked so hard to get us to this point. We are on the brink of new possibilities for our students, and I couldn't be happier about it.
And may I speak to Mrs. Rosario's
Go ahead.
comment? I'd also like to.
Thank you, Mrs. Barenborg.
Okay. I'd like to say thank you to Mrs. Zork, too, because I don't think we would be able to negotiate a contract with all of us and your attorney and our attorney, and it is difficult. And I was afforded, at least Saturday night I saw it, and then Sunday I read through it, and then I called you, and I appreciate you going through everything with me. And I think, I don't know if Mrs. Rosario had the chance to call our attorney, but I think that's where I was able to get my questions answered. And I had some concerns about, I will tell you, Ms. Rosario, I had some concerns about, why are we paying for moving costs and all that? Do you know how hard it is to find housing during the winter season in Vero Beach? It's very difficult, and it's expensive, and I know that. So when that was kind of reminded to me, I went, oh, yeah, I get that. So my questions were answered by the attorney telling me that you had negotiated that on our behalf. Did you vote on it and say to us, this is final? No, but somebody's got to negotiate it, so I appreciate the fact that you did that. And anything that I had a problem with, I called our attorney, which is all of our job to do. And I was able to get that answer before tonight, so that tonight I was ready to vote or not to vote on it.
And I'd like to call the question, Mrs. Sork, if I could.
Mrs. Barrenblard, to your response, yes, I spoke to our attorney, but further than that, discussion should be with board members at a board meeting, and that's what this tonight is about, to discuss the contract and some of the items in the contract. That is one item that I have a concern with.
Okay.
I also have a concern with $850 a month for automobile allowance.
Mrs. Sork, I'd like to call the question if I could, please. Can we take a vote on whether or not?
No.
Are we ready?
No,
hold
I
on.
think that that's very disrespectful to completely disregard a board member's concerns.
Just one moment, Mrs. Rosario. Dr. Schiff?
Dr. Moore, welcome to Indian River County. Remember that part in your interview when you said you've watched our meetings and you didn't think you'd be bored? Here we are. Here's your first night. But thank you. These are difficult conversations. These are difficult conversations to have, as we must, in the sunshine. And were we not under those kinds of obligations, we would have been able to have these conversations in a more dignified and respectful way. So thank you for bearing with that. Thank you for honoring the parts of all of us who want to welcome you wholeheartedly and with open arms, and in order to do that, need to get some questions answered.
Right.
So thank you for bearing with the process.
Okay, so if you don't mind, Mrs. Rosario, we looked at Palm Beach, Brevard, St. Lucie County, and they provide a vehicle for business and personal. That's a very expensive process. We look at Lake and around the country, or I'm sorry, around the state. It is average $850 for the superintendent to have a vehicle allowance of that amount, which also includes repair, tires, insurance, car payment, and gas. Previous superintendent had mileage. Mileage is a very expensive process to go through, and we do not have a white fleet vehicle currently that could accommodate the superintendent based on what we need at this time. So
I disagree with that. We have white fleet cars. We have a white fleet car that the superintendent uses now.
Actually, I don't.
no, Dr. Moxley does not use the white fleet vehicle. She does use her own personal vehicle, and she, do you get mileage, Dr. Moxley?
I don't submit it.
You don't submit it. But mileage is a very expensive, it's very expensive. I believe it's 54.5 cents a mile, and it adds up really fast. So when you look at, if a superintendent's between 50 miles a day, it does come out better for the $850. And then I also want to refer to the $910 that the county administrator does get for his car allowance. So we actually, in the county, when you're looking at the county reimbursement versus the school district, we're actually better with the $850. There was a lot of research that went into these numbers. It wasn't just pulled out of the hat.
I just want to say thank
Well,
you
it's
to
interesting
Suzanne.
because board members don't know that.
Actually,
Members need to be a part of those discussions.
Yeah, Mrs. Zork, I just want to say thank you to Suzanne. As Mrs. Barenborg did mention, and Dr. Schiff, Suzanne was on the phone with me on Monday morning. We had quite a discussion about the contract and went over it quite a bit. I've looked at a number of contracts for superintendents across the state, and I felt that this was comparable to some similar districts that have tackled some of the challenges that we're about to tackle.
can I add to that? Mrs. Rosario, on first glance, I had a lot of the same issues and concerns with you. I then spent a bunch of time speaking with Ms. DeGresta, who walked me through some of the process of how those negotiations work. I am certainly not going to repeat those here, but it really helped me understand the process. It also helped me understand how closely she worked with Mrs. Zork. And one of the things that I wish had happened in this, and we talked about this, was that I wish that when we had gotten that piece of paper, it came with some acknowledgement of the long process of negotiation that happened leading into it. The only way I was able to find that out was to talk to Ms. DeGresta. And because I am new to this process, and this is the first time I've gone through this, I also spent some time talking to Dr. Moxley, who has been through this process a number of times and was able to help give me some perspective on how this works for superintendents in a variety of counties. And that helped considerably, that helped address some of my concerns. I'm hearing also things tonight that I hadn't heard. For example, the county administrator's pay and allowance and all of that. So if anything, that actually helps increase my confidence in this. And do I have concerns about it? Yes. You know, would I like some of those benefits? Sure. But I'm not in that position. And I recognize that in order to move us, as Mrs. Justice was saying, in order to move us where we need to go, we can't keep making the same mistake. We just can't. And Dr. Moore himself has acknowledged that if he's not getting the job done for us, he will be the first one to say, I don't think I'm for you, or we will say that to him. I honestly don't believe that will happen. But it took me, Mrs. Rosario, a similar process going through that you are going through now publicly here, having conversations with people I was allowed to talk to because it didn't violate sunshine in order to get comfortable with this contract. And so, having done that legwork, I'm willing to move forward with it.
Okay, and just for the record, I have had conversations with regard to the contract. That's not the issue, just like everybody else has. I understand that. But tonight, I'm bringing forth some items that are of concern to me, just as they might have been for either of you. If you had concerns, tonight would be the night to bring it forward because we cannot speak outside of sunshine, which everybody is acknowledging. So this is my opportunity to bring forward to you all the items that are of concern to me. The last item that I have of concern is on page 18 of 25. It is number 2. It is with regard to notice if the superintendent is to seek employment elsewhere. He's to give us 30 days notice. I would like the contract to read 30 business days notice. So those are my concerns, and
Okay.
that's where I will leave it.
Mrs. Orr?
Yes.
I will support Mrs. Rosario's request on that, only because the 90-day plan we got was a business day plan. But I think it's worth discussing anyway.
That was slick.
Mrs. DeAgresta, how would, to have an amendment to a contract, we would have to put this day on hold, go back and negotiate this with Dr. Moore's attorney, and we have to decide, is that significant enough to
Right.
put this on hold tonight? And I'm going to say no, in my view. consensus on that?
Yes. Mrs. Ork, I've called the question. Obviously, we need a second to be able to move forward to a vote. If you're ready to call the vote, I'm ready to vote. And if a board member doesn't feel they can support the contract, that is what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Do I have this?
Second.
Okay. All right. All right. So I need a vote on this for Dr. Moore's contract as is. Board members, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries 5-0.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome to Indian River County.
Board members, this is a time to celebrate, so if you'll please join me down here at the table, we are going to sign the contract right now.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Also known as Mrs. Moore. Yes, the Kodak moments are upon us. Picture perfect, picture perfect.
Yes, please.
Okay, ready. Now we have Jen in the picture. 1, 3.
Okay, I'm going to take this so that you can't change your mind. It's mine and I have it.
I'd like everybody to meet my wife, Jen.
Mrs. Moore, Tom.
Yeah, yeah. So I hear everything that's been said. And as I sit over there in my seat, I acknowledge the work that I said that needs to be done. And I acknowledge how far we have to go as a district. And I acknowledge the need or desire that this board has. And one of the things that is super encouraging to me and a validation that I have landed where God has wanted me to be is the expectation each and every single one of you have. Collectively as a board, you have demonstrated to me that you have an expectation that every child in this district deserves a quality education. And that the adults in this community, the adults in our schools, need to come together, align in purpose, walk in our purpose, and ensure every student is provided with that education. When you've seen that come to life, when you've been in a school and you've seen children who are literally standing on the cliff one step away from living a lifetime of frustration and failure, and you see them turn their life around, you want to replicate that impact. You want to ensure all children have that kind of opportunity to have that impact in their life. So I'm looking forward to partnering with each and every single one of you regarding that expectation. We will have one expectation in Indian River. We will unite in purpose, and we will ensure that everyone in this district has the opportunity to walk in that purpose, understanding how their role, their position, connects to the improvement of quality instruction each and every single day. Will this work be complex? Absolutely. Will it be challenging? Absolutely. Will I make mistakes? Absolutely. But I will fall and fail forward. I will uphold an expectation each and every single day. To those who are part of the organization, and those who support the organization, and those who send their children to be educated by the organization, we will work together to uphold that expectation. So I am beyond excited. And people have said to me over the last week, and this has been a very, very long week, very long week, transitioning out of a place where you have spent 24 years, not an easy task. And looking forward to coming to a place to have transformational impact with the excitement and energy that I'm looking forward to bring, made the week very, very, very long. But I'm looking forward to getting to work. I'm looking forward to ensuring that we come together and we unite as a community. We unite as a district around your expectation, to operationalize that expectation, to uphold that expectation, to support the members of our district, to lift that expectation. For the next month, I'll have the opportunity to onboard myself as defined in that 90-day plan. And my goal is to take advantage of Dr. Moxley, 100%, and allow myself the opportunity truly to have a deep understanding, as much as I possibly can, during the month of December. So when we walk back in January, we're hitting the floor running. We're moving at 1,000 miles an hour. People have said, I am intense. The answer to that question is, yes, I am. Do I have a high expectation? Absolutely. Will I enforce that expectation every day of the week and twice on Sunday? But I will support you beyond belief. And I can't go home at night and put my head on the pillow and tell my wife about the day unless I know I'm being blessed by the members of the organization. I'm not here to talk about an expectation. I'm here to walk in my purpose. I'm here to support and uphold an expectation. We will do challenging, hard work. Every school in this district should be an A. Underline it, make it all caps. Is that a big and bold statement? It sure is. But under the current structure on how the state grades schools, that work can be done, that goal can be accomplished. It's not David Moore's expectation, it's not the board's expectation, it is our collective expectation. It takes the belief of the entire community to make that a reality. But I can think of no better reason than thinking back and looking back at the children in our schools. They deserve this. They deserve 100% of us. So I will spend the rest of the weekend, my weekend starts as soon as I leave and get in my car here, having Thanksgiving with my wife, who I have to acknowledge and support. She has been my partner in this work and allowed me to fully connect and be a part of this and supported me each and every step of the way, regardless of the hours, regardless of the amount of time, or what she calls me being in my head. Cannot thank her enough for walking this journey with me. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I will come back Monday, and Monday will be the opportunity for me to start learning. I will learn as fast as I possibly can. When we leave here in December, we will push out information to everyone in this community where you will have the opportunity to come and share your frustration, your concern, where we need to shift or where we need to modify practice, where we need to enhance and accelerate or expand on certain programs. Everyone will have the opportunity at every school to provide input and feedback. We'll spend about 5 to 6 weeks exploring who we are as an organization. Not only where we are in terms of outcome or data, but the systems and structures that have been put in place that make that the true reality. We'll present that information to the board. You'll have information as we move throughout the entire process. And in the following 5 or 6 weeks, we'll design what we will be and what we become as an organization. Not only what we believe, but how we organize, how we interact, how we connect, how we uphold expectation, and how we support expectation. This work will be hard. This work will be complex. We will shift and modify our practices. I will ask us as an organization to stop doing certain things. Transformation doesn't begin with new initiatives. It stops by pausing and evaluating what things do we need to stop doing. When I went in and got my superintendent interview suit, I didn't go in there and put a suit on top of the current suit I had. I had to take off the old and put on the new. So there are going to be opportunities for us really to evaluate who we are. Look at the variance between what we say, what we believe, and how we act and think, and connect the two. I couldn't be any happier to fall in Indian River. I think I am right where God wants me to be. I am super excited to come home. And I joked this morning that I was coming home. That is the truth. So your expectation, your bold, clearly defined expectation that you're placing on me is an expectation that I embrace. I look forward to partnering with you and working with you to ensure each and every single student in this district is provided with transformational impact. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and I am looking forward to coming back on Monday, learning as much as I possibly can. And your Christmas break, your holiday break, enjoy it. Because when we come back, we're going to be rocking and rolling. Because I'm a rock star, all right? Thank you so much. I am truly blessed and truly honored and looking forward to connecting and working with each and every single one of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was waiting for him to drop the microphone. All right.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Let me get back here in order. Where's, can I use that?
We're in action item B.
Where are we? What are we doing? Approval of amendment to interim superintendent employment contract. Where is that? Okay. Yes. So, this is just a minor amendment because Dr. Moxley, is going to, stay with us as the interim superintendent through December 19th. And so this contract reflects that. So at this time, I call for a motion to approve.
Move approval.
I'll second.
Okay. Mrs. Justice?
Yes, thank you. Much has been said about St. Susan. At times I've waited for a parade to come down the center of the... Dr. Moxley, You truly have been a wonderful addition to the School District of Indian River County. We are keeping you in our hearts, and you will always be part of our family. This is a family, a school family. And I know, I think everyone shares the sentiment. It's just been a pleasure to work with you, and I've learned a lot in a short period of time. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, I'd like to speak as well. Yes, moving from St. Susan to Rockstar Moore is going to be, it's going to be an adjustment for us. I hope you keep your rock star status. That's all I have to say. You know, Dr. Moxley, you came at a time where we needed healing, and you have been perfect for that. And I appreciate that on behalf of our community and our school community, that we needed a healer. And I appreciate all you've done to heal us and educate us as board members. I think I've learned a lot from you in the role that I'm in. And, you know, we learn every day, and you're still teaching. How wonderful is that? And we wish you well, but I also know that you'll still be in contact with Rockstar over there. Thank you.
So is your last official day going to be the 19th, or are you sticking around? Like, you get in your car and you go after the 19th?
After the party.
The 20th, exactly. That's where I'm, you know, we'll get there.
All right, dance party.
You came into this district at a time where to say it was fractured would probably be an understatement. We were bleeding. We were wounded, we were bleeding, we were broken. And your job coming in, you were specifically charged with healing us and the district and setting us up for the new superintendent. I have never seen someone so well accomplish a mandate, or an unwritten and unfunded mandate.
Well, we paid her.
Well, I know. I was making a joke. It was a state thing. But you have created a context for us to come together as a board. You have created a platform in the district to start healing the wounds of the climate and the culture. You have created a platform for us to mend 50-plus-year-old wounds with the NAACP and our African American community. I have not heard one person say one negative word about you. So I will freely admit, publicly and on camera, that I'm having severe separation anxiety. I'm excited about what's next. But I, from the bottom of my heart, you taught me what it means to work with a superintendent. You taught me what it means to be a superintendent. You showed me what it looks like when it's working. And you created a standard for me to understand and evaluate the person who will step into your shoes. So from the bottom of my heart, I deeply thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
Mrs. Rosario, are you still on the line?
I am.
Would you
I'm
like,
fighting back tears
We're all like,
but, would you like to speak?
because Dr. Moxley has been really such a godsend. And I know Dr. Moore will be a wonderful superintendent for our school district. But there really can never be another Dr. Moxley. And she and I have had private conversation prior to tonight. So, Dr. Schiff, you're not the only one that is experiencing separation anxiety. But I know that Dr. Moxley is going to be sorely missed. And I hope, from what I understand, beyond December, she will be and continue to be available for Dr. Moore as a support, as a mentor. I would love to keep her on as a consultant. I don't know if we can ever get that far, but I think that Dr. Moxley has done incredible work in such a short period of time, something that I had and could never imagine possible, and yet she really did show up and show off. So I am eternally grateful for the work that she has done. She has tirelessly come in, even on weekends and on holidays, to really bring unity and move the district forward and help prepare the way for Dr. Moore to step into this role. It just goes beyond, when I say thank you, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, Dr. Moxley.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, thank you. This is not her last meeting.
Yes.
I know, and we're acting like.
They're practicing.
You got me on December 10th.
We do have her on December
Yeah.
10th, and she's not officially leaving, and if you'll read the contract here. Superintendent shall be December 19, 2019 at 11:59.
That's right.
So we have you until then.
I'll call you at 11:58.
So I'm gonna hold my goodbyes till then, but
We were just setting her up. This was like the
no,
warm-up.
and I've already
We're gonna have to do
prepared
this again.
ahead of time because I already have her address here in Florida, and I have her address up north. So we've already talked about when I come and visit in St. Augustine, some good places to stay. I think Dr. Moxley's done a superb job, and I'm not going to go into my goodbyes right now. So at this time, we need to vote on the amendment to this contract. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
5-0. Okay. Okay, we're going to move on to action agenda item C, public hearing on new and revised school board policies. At this time, superintendent recommends approval.
Yes, members of the board, this particular item, we have previously set the hearing for tonight. These are the two new policies that we talked about. The first one is the medical marijuana policy that is new, and the other one is a revision to the exceptional student education, and that was just to include language that was previously deleted by a separate policy about least restricted environments. So these are being recommended for final approval tonight. It is a public hearing for those policies.
Okay. All right, so at this time, we'll conduct the public hearing. This item deals with adoption of new and revised district school board policies. Dr. Moxley, have you documented that this public hearing was properly advertised in accordance with state statutes?
Yes, I have.
Okay. We now recess this meeting to conduct the public hearing as advertised. The public hearing is now in session. Dr. Moxley, are there any written responses to the advertised public hearing to be read at this time?
I have not received any.
Okay, the public is invited to address this issue at this time. Is there anyone in the audience that would care to speak to this item? Is there any individual representing an organization of his or own personal or public interest who wishes to speak? Okay, no? Okay, the chair concludes that the announced public hearing on the adoption of new and revised district school board policies has been conducted pursuant to notice, and the ample opportunity to address this issue has been provided to all. The board meeting is reconvened. I need a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Mrs. Barrenborg, would you like to speak to your motion?
No, I think my questions that I had on this very interesting topic were answered, and I look forward to the fact that we're going to do what we need to do as far as what the state mandate says and follow through with caution. So thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mrs. Justice?
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Zork. Occasionally, we need to update board policy to be in alignment with state statute, and this issue with student use of medical marijuana is one of those things. It was reported that the school district of Indian River County was looking at this issue. Every district in the state of Florida will be going through this process. So happy that we're able to align our policies with state statute. Thank you, Dr. Moxley, for bringing this forward, and thank you for the lively and interesting conversation when we discussed it during our workshop. If anyone has any questions about this specific policy, I recommend that you go back and watch that workshop regarding the use of medical marijuana by students. Board members asked many questions, and we move forward on this tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion? No? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 5-0.
Great. Thank you very much.
Okay, we're going to move to action agenda item D, approval to set public hearing to adopt a new school board policy. Dr. Moxley.
Yes, this particular item is to set the public hearing for the first board meeting in January for the racial equity policy that was presented and previously workshopped. Board members, before you vote on setting this hearing, I do want to make one minor correction that I noted. Dr. Schiff and I, if you'll recall, there were two paragraphs that needed just some tweaking. I did notice that on the first page, under the ensure systemic equity, the superintendent shall lead from a system-wide racial. The word equity was not included. I want to make sure that tonight your action does include the insertion of the word equity. So with that, I do recommend the approval to set the public hearing to adopt this new policy for the first board meeting in January.
Okay. I need a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Would you like to speak to your motion?
Sure. Thank you. I am delighted that we are passing this policy. This was the first policy that I have brought forward to the board that is, that I am proud and honored that the board is moving to pass tonight. This policy, I think, is not simply fluff. I think it has substance. I am delighted that my fellow board members agreed on the significance and importance of this policy and for the strength of the language included in this policy. So I thank Dr. Moxley for bringing this forward and working on it, and I thank my fellow board members for being a group of people who are as committed to this work as I am. So thank you for that.
I just want to clarify, it's,
right.
this is we're setting the public hearing for the adoption of the policy. No, it's fine.
She's excited.
Getting ahead of myself.
Adoption will be noticed, and it will be business meeting on 1/14/2020.
Apparently, I'm going to repeat myself now on the 10th and in the beginning of January.
I look forward to it.
The new and improved.
Okay.
I also, though, when we moved, did we move with the amendment as Dr. Moxley stated? If we didn't, I want to do whatever I have to do, Suzanne, to say that we're moving to approve with the correction that Dr. Moxley noted.
Yes, and you discussed it during the workshop as well, so it's well within the record. That's what we meant to
Okay.
do, is to include that word, yes.
Okay, any further discussion for the approval to set public hearing to adopt a new school board policy?
Yes.
There was a second.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine, Mrs. Work. Thank you very much for recognizing me. I just want to say thank you to Dr. Schiff for bringing this forward. This is an interesting process. So we're discussing the policy this evening. It's listed in the backup for the meeting. I hope everyone takes a second to look at it. We ask for public comment when we do update our policy, and we rarely get public comment when we do have a hearing. So if nothing else, to support this type of work within the school district, if anyone wants to come out and speak to it at the next public hearing, I think it's a wonderful thing for us to be able to do. And thank you again, Dr. Schiff.
Thank you.
I can speak, but I know that we all take a lot of airtime, so I'd just like to say thank you for setting the public hearing, and we'll speak in January.
Okay. All right. No further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 5-0. Okay, that concludes our action agenda. So we're going to move on to the superintendent report.
Yes, I just have a few comments to Dr. and Mrs. Moore. Welcome to this lovely community. I feel very thankful and blessed that I've had an opportunity to be part of it. You're going to love it here, and so we welcome you. And I am here to help support your onboarding, your transition, and for the many, many months ahead and years ahead. I know that while I will not physically be here, I will be watching from afar. And I have been told that once you're part of the family, you're always part of the family. So I am very thankful for being part of the Indian River County family. So thank you very much. It's been my pleasure. You know, we all say that we serve from a place of strength, and I'm glad that I've had the opportunity to share whatever strengths I have with this community. It's just lovely, lovely. I am thankful that Dr. Moore is coming back on Monday. I'm thankful you put it in the record. So congratulations again, and we look forward to working with you on Monday as well. I know we're going to hit the ground running on Monday morning, so happy Thanksgiving to you. And to all of you board members and to the members of the community and our staff, I want to wish you a very happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your Turkey Day, your family, and I hope you do something very fun over your time off. And we look forward to welcoming all our students back on Monday.
Okay. Now, we have discussion, but there's no items on for discussion. I just want to remind board members that please turn in your one item if you would like to have a discussion item for our workshop on December 10th. What we're going to do is Dr. Moxley does have a few presentations that she's going to have, but it's not going to take up the full amount of the superintendent workshop time. So what we're going to do is go back to the past practice and try to divide up whatever time's left, and then we'll dive into a topic. So I don't really foresee it being a long discussion time, but if it's just something that you want to bring up to the board, that's a perfect opportunity to do so at that time. Anyways, Nancy has asked that we turn in that item to her by Monday afternoon. Moving into school board member matters, would you like to start, Mrs. Berenberg?
Thank you. Okay, sure. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to the hardworking teachers and paras that put the Sebastian River High School dance inclusion together. I've never gotten to go to things like that in the past because I worked during the day, but it was a wonderful event. Wow, such happy faces, and it's incredible. Wait till you get to see it. It's amazing. But I know how much hard work. I don't know how much hard work, but I know that those teachers worked really hard in Paris to get it done. So I appreciate that. Been visiting a lot of schools. I specifically went into schools in the last 2 days because I know these 2 days were the days we brought back from hurricane. And I'm happy to report that at least the classrooms I was in and around the campus, positive people, teachers teaching, kids on task. A lot of kids that if the classroom looked like they had less kids, I asked, and a lot of them were ill. But you know, we did obviously have some kids that were out and teachers that were out, and I asked about that as well. So I know the committee is working right now on next year's calendar, and they have some bold ideas, and I can't wait for us to look at that and see what their bold ideas are. And Moonshot Rocket was traveling today to all the schools to donate books, and I guess that was from an ESE grant, and the books were social emotional books for every single school. So I was amazed at how many books there were that came out of that rocket, but it was wonderful. And then the fourth thing I like to say again is thank you to Dr. Moxley for everything you've done to heal us, but also to welcome Dr. and Mrs. Moore. And I look forward to rolling up my sleeves with you and doing the hard work that we got to do as a team and as a family to come together. And that's what we need. We need us to come together to do the work. So I appreciate all of your earnest, intense conversations that you had with us. I think we ran you through the ringer pretty well. You now know what you're getting into, and I wish you luck with that. So happy Thanksgiving to everyone as well.
Mrs. Rosario, are you?
I'm here, thank you. I also went to the inclusion dance at Sebastian River High School on Friday, and it was wonderful. I look forward to going every year. and the children had a great time on stage. So it was well put on. I wanted to thank Dr. Schiff because I haven't had a chance to mention this prior to bringing forth the racial equity policy, and for Dr. Moxley as well with this. It is long overdue and absolutely needed. I am looking forward to Dr. Moore. Once again, congratulations, Dr. Moore. I thank you for understanding that every board member has a different opinion on certain items, but needless to say, you are, thank you, I see you waving.
That was a delay.
You are certainly welcome, and we are excited to have you begin with the work, and I look forward to one day meeting your family as well. So thank you very much for what is in store and yet to come.
Okay.
Oh, and happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Dr. Schiff?
Well, I unfortunately didn't get to the dance inclusion. Broke my heart. I had a doctor's appointment that ran over. Just sort of want to publicly say I had a good excuse. I didn't just not show up. The good news is I'm getting better. The other thing is a lot has happened in the last couple of weeks since our last board business meeting. Of course, we hired a superintendent. That was fairly significant. But for those who weren't able to make it, the new Boys and Girls Club building opened in Fellsmere last week, and a number of us were able to go to the opening of that. That was wonderful. It was well attended. It's a beautiful building. Again, yet another fantastic community partner in support of our kids here, so I was delighted to be able to attend that. I was delighted to be able to attend the Learning Alliance 10-year anniversary celebration. That was great fun as well. I thank you for inviting us to that. I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but in the busyness of the last couple of weeks, that's as good as it gets for me right now. So thank you all. Have a wonderful time off. Enjoy. And yes, we will start rolling up our sleeves very soon. Although I may be hanging out with Jen while you all are, rolling up your sleeves. Just saying. She's going to have to get to know the community too. So it's an invitation. But yeah, I'm really looking forward. One of the things actually that people, sorry, I guess I'm not done, that people don't know is that starting even before we signed this contract, I and the other board members and the cabinet members and department heads were all getting notifications of setting up meetings with Dr. Moore. So he was quite, what's the word I want?
Eager.
No.
Proactive.
What?
Proactive.
No, the one that says he was pretty sure this was going to work out. I know there's a word for that. Optimistic. But to those who don't know, not only is he hitting the ground running, he's actually already hit the ground running. He has meetings lined up next week. He will be starting, practically instantaneously. So thank you for that. And I'm looking forward to doing that work with you, sir. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Mrs. Zork. Yes, it has been a busy couple of weeks in the school district of Indian River County. I just want to make note, I was able to visit the Wabasso School. As many people know, they received a grant from the Johns Island Foundation, and working with the Education Foundation, they have a real lab there, and they make puppy treats, dog treats. So if anyone is interested in buying dog treats for their dog, there's a small size that's $4 and a large size is $8. Nancy has them in the board area, but I'm going to come and sell them in the front for a couple days, I think, to help raise some money. They're very proud of the work that they do, and they're all natural treats, and they're made with love. So Wabasso dog treats are the perfect gift for your dog for Christmas. I am also going to be reading the one and only Ivan for Pelican Island Elementary. I have pages 273 through 296, which means I'm going to be skipping ahead, because when I visited Pelican Island, the principal did give me the book. And the kids and I have been reading it at night. It's a lovely book. If you've never read it before, pick it up. As an adult, I'm really enjoying it. So I'm excited, and I'm going to try to do as good of a job as Kristen does, because Lord knows she's animated and will hopefully not cry. The last thing I'd like to say is next week we'll go to FSBA as a board. It's the second year that we're going to the Florida School Board Association and joints and conference with the superintendents with FADS. It's a wonderful learning experience. I am excited to go together as a board to learn and grow. I think it's going to be a wonderful opportunity for all of us, and we're excited to have not only Dr. Moxley with us for a day or so, but Dr. Moore will be joining as well. A proud moment for Indian River County to be able to attend that conference with a new superintendent and all of us aligned to do the work together. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I hope you have a wonderful time with your family. I know I will enjoy my time with them because my vacation starts when I get in my car today after this meeting. Thank you, Mrs. Horton.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I am so thankful. And it's kind of funny, but it's not. I'm really thankful for our teachers because I don't know if I would have the patience to be able to teach my children. So I appreciate each and every one of you because just the patience that it takes to be a teacher. And I value everything that you do every day, and I appreciate all our teachers for understanding that not my children aren't perfect, and they have they really truly have become partners with me, and so I'm thankful for our teachers this year. I'm also thankful for, obviously, Dr. Moxley, but I am thankful that Dr. Moore did not run out of the building tonight when we were in board discussion, so I appreciate that. I was about to have Major Milo back there lock the doors and make sure that you signed the contract because we weren't going to let you leave. And I at our Thanksgiving for the district, our Thanksgiving luncheon, I had mentioned to all the staff to put on your Christmas wish list a pair of tennis shoes because once you come on board, we're going to be running. And I don't actually own a pair of tennis shoes. I own a lot of heels, so I'm going to have to put a pair on.
Borrow mine.
I'm going to have to put a
We'll
pair.
chip in as a board, Christmas present.
And so I'm here. I'm a partner with you. I'm here to support your vision because your vision is my vision, and I'm excited about tonight. It's just great news. So just happy Thanksgiving, everyone. And so now we're going to move into the superintendent closing.
Happy Thanksgiving, good night.
Okay, we're going to adjourn
So good.
at 6:27.